Next, we will prove that the discounted value process is a martingale. For this, we need a property of conditional expectation called factor property. We will state the property and prove it now as a lemma. The factor property says that if you have a random variable x on the probability space S, F and P, and Y be a random variable on some other sigma field, but other components are same, then if you take the conditional expectation on xy given the information f, which is the sigma field for x, then the x can come out of the expectation. That's what the factor property says. How to prove this? Let us see. E of y given f is a random variable which is f measurable. We can see that x e of y given f is a f measurable random variable. So we have to show that e of x, e of y given f 1 a is equal to e of x y 1 a for all a in f. So this is what we have to show. We will prove this in a special case when the range of x is a finite set, say x1 to xn. So let us set aj is equal to x equal to xj, then aj is a event in f, and therefore 1ax can be written as sigma j equal to 1 to n xj 1a aj, right? So multiply both sides by e of y given f and then use the linearity of the conditional expectation. We get e of 1a x e of y given f is equal to sigma j equal to 1 to n xj e of 1 aaj e of y given f, and that can be written as sigma j equal to 1 to n xj e of 1 aaj y, and that is nothing but e of 1a xy. So this is what we wish to show, and this completes the proof. Next, let us prove that the value process is a martingale. Let's state it as a lemma. Let the portfolio process pi k be a replicative and self-financing strategy, and let Vk tilde be the corresponding discounted value process. Then Vk tilde is a Fk martingale with respect to the risk neutral probability P star. So recall that for pi k is equal to phi, which is the number of units in the risk-free asset, which is a scalar, comma theta k, which is the number of units in the risky asset. Generally we take it as vector because there can be more than one risky asset. But in the pricing model we have studied so far, we have always taken the risky asset to be also one just for the simplicity, and therefore in this lemma also we will prove it for theta being a scalar. The discounted value is given by bk tilde is equal to 1 by bk. This is because of the normalization into v of pi k tk plus 1, and that is going to be 1 by bk into phi k bk plus theta k into sk. That can be written as phi k plus theta k into sk tilde, the discounted stock price. Recall that theta k is a fk minus 1 measurable random variable, and theta sk tilde is a fk measurable random variable. Therefore, vk tilde is a fk measurable random variable. Why? Because of course we know the information at tk minus 1 itself regarding theta k, but the information about sk is known only at time tk, right? Therefore vk is known at time tk only. Therefore vk should be fk measurable. This is an intuitive explanation. You can also show it mathematically. Therefore E star of Vk tilde given Fk minus 1. We are supposed to show that this is equal to Vk minus 1 tilde. That can be written as E star of phi k plus theta k sk tilde given Fk minus 1. Now use the linearity of the conditional expectation. You will have E star of phi k given fk minus 1 plus E star of theta k sk tilde given fk minus 1. Now we can use factor property. You can see that theta is fk minus 1 measurable and sk tilde is fk measurable, which is one time level higher. So this theta k can come out of this expectation. So we have E star of Vk tilde given Fk minus 1 is equal to, since phi k is Fk minus 1 measurable, therefore it also will be simply coming out of E star, and you have E star 1 given Fk minus 1, which is just 1. So you'll have phi k here plus theta k E star of sk tilde given fk minus 1. And since sk is a fk martingale, we can write it as phi k plus theta k into sk minus 1 tilde, right? Because it's a sk tilde is a martingale which we have seen previously. Therefore, this is precisely s tilde k minus 1. Now remember, this is nothing but v of pi k at tk minus 1, right? So this is the money that we have put in order to make the portfolio pi k. Now by self-finance strategy assumption, we should have v of pi k Tk minus 1, which is the initial amount spent on making pi k, should be equal to V of the value of pi k minus 1 at Tk minus 1, right? So it means phi k plus theta k sk minus 1 should be equal to phi k minus 1 plus theta k minus 1 sk minus 1. So there's a tilde here, there is a tilde here. And putting this here, we have E star of Vk tilde given Fk minus 1 is equal to phi k minus 1 plus theta k minus 1 S tilde k minus 1. That is nothing but V tilde k minus 1. So that shows that the process Vk tilde is a martingale. Our next topic of discussion is fundamental theorems of asset pricing. There are two theorems that we need to understand here. The first is fundamental theorem and the second fundamental theorem of asset pricing. They establish an equivalent condition for no arbitrage market. These are not new to us. We have already come across these results. But in a particular case, when the trading strategy consists of single risky asset, recall that we have introduced the notion of trading strategy with multiple risky assets. But while deriving the option pricing models in the last section, we have restricted ourselves to a single risky asset. This is just to make the theory simple, but this can be generalized to finitely many risky assets as well. This generalization also has practical importance. The methodology followed for option pricing can also be used to develop a hedging strategy. If time permits, we will also discuss it. But the methodology we introduced so far can be used to hedge a portfolio consisting of a single risky asset. If we want to hedge a portfolio that consists of finitely many risky assets, then we need to build a theoretical framework that allows us to generalize our single asset model to multiple asset model. If the portfolio has finitely many risky assets, then the resulting model is called a finite market model. There are two fundamental results that are needed to construct finite market models. These are the two fundamental theorems that we are going to study in this subsection. Before going into the statement of these theorems, we need to first introduce two notions, namely equivalent probability measure and the equivalent martingale measure. Let's first start with the equivalent probability measure. Two probability measures P1 and P2, both defined on the same sample space S, F, are equivalent, which is also called mutually absolutely continuous, if for every event in F, P1 of A is equal to 0 if and only if P2 of A is equal to 0. The next definition is the equivalent martingale measure. If you recall, we have started our probability space with any probability measure which is strictly greater than 0 for every singleton in the sample set, right? So you pick up any one such probability and then look for a equivalent probability which makes some specific processes a martingale with respect to the filtration that you consider. You have to suitably choose such equivalent probability. That is the whole idea of the construction of the models. So in that sense, in a general setup, we look for some equivalent probability measure that makes your processes martingale. An equivalent martingale measure is a probability measure P star defined on the sample space S comma F star such that P star, that is the one which you are looking for, is equivalent to the probability that you have, and more specifically the process, that is the discounted stock price process, is FK martingale. That is, you already have a filtration. With respect to that filtration, your stock price process, the discounted one, is a FK martingale with respect to this probability measure P star. Generally, this P star, which comes as an equivalent martingale measure, is also called the risk neutral probability. In fact, we have explicitly obtained the formula for P star in the case when there is only one, that is single risky asset in our portfolio. We are now giving a general theoretical framework for what we have already constructed in that particular case. That's all we are doing now. Let us now state the first fundamental theorem of asset pricing. The theorem says that the finite market has no arbitrage opportunity if and only if there exists an equivalent martingale measure P star. We will prove only one direction of this theorem. The converse is omitted for our course because the proof is more involved. It uses a well-known theorem called separating hyperplane theorem in Rn, and also it's quite lengthy. So we will only prove one direction of the theorem. That is, we assume that there exists an EMM, equivalent martingale measure P star, and we will show that the finite market B comma S is arbitrage free. Assume the contrary, that the market allows arbitrage. So this means what? There exists an arbitrage portfolio, say pi. Therefore, we can construct a self-financing predictable strategy by K such that V naught is equal to 0, that is the initial investment is equal to 0, Vn is greater than or equal to 0, and probability of Vn greater than 0 is strictly greater than 0. So these two, in fact, implies that V naught tilde is also equal to 0 because it's just a normalization of V naught by some risk-free price, that is B naught, which is non-zero. Therefore, it should be 0 as well. And also Vn tilde, the discounted value process, should also be greater than or equal to 0 because they all are just a normalized form of Vn. Also, we have assumed that there exists a EMM P star. It means P star is equivalent to P, right? So that implies P star of Vn tilde greater than 0, that is the pullback of Vn star greater than 0 is also greater than 0. Now you see Vn tilde is non-negative and its corresponding probability is positive. Therefore, you can see that the expectation of Vn tilde should be strictly greater than 0. That is the first observation that we have. Let's call it as star. On the other hand, you can see that since Vn tilde is martingale, remember we have proved this when our portfolio has single risky asset. The same idea can be followed to prove that Vn tilde is martingale when there are more than one risky asset in our market. The only thing is you have to just denote the theta as a vector and sk tilde as a vector, and you have to take the dot product. It's just a notational change only. Otherwise, the idea is exactly the same as what we have proved just above for V and tilde to be martingale in the case when the market has single risky asset. Okay, therefore you can just follow the same idea and prove this also when the market has more than one risky asset. So therefore you can write E of V tilde N given F naught. This is going to be V naught tilde, right? But what is F naught? Generally, we are taking F naught as the trivial sigma field. Therefore, E star of Vn tilde given F naught is simply E star of Vn tilde only. And that is equal to V naught tilde. We have just now saw because of the martingale property. But what is V naught tilde? That is equal to 0. But this contradicts star, right? Therefore, the market does not allow arbitrage. So this is how we can prove one side of the theorem. Now we have to assume that the market has no arbitrage opportunity, and we have to prove that there exists a equivalent martingale measure. As I told, it is more involved and it's lengthy proof also, so therefore we will just omit it. So interested students can see the book by Ilwa and Pope. The book title is Mathematics of Finance Market. There's a second edition also. You can see that the proof is completely given in this book. Let us next state second fundamental theorem of asset pricing. The theorem says that if there is no arbitrage in the market, then completeness of the market is equivalent to the existence of unique equivalent martingale measure. See, here the important point is that the uniqueness is guaranteed if the market is in addition complete. Okay, so previously it was only arbitrage free. Now we have added one more condition of completeness, that is the replicative strategy exists, right? Then we have uniqueness. Again, we prove only one side of the theorem. The other side is omitted for our course here because it is little lengthy. Again, the full proof can be obtained from Ilwart and Coop, Mathematics of Financial Markets, second edition. So here we will only assume that the market is arbitrage free and complete, and then prove that it admits a unique equivalent martingale measure. The existence of EMM is not a problem because we have already stated it in the first fundamental theorem, which says that arbitrage free market if and only if EMM exists. Therefore, existence is already given to us. So we have to only prove the uniqueness. For that, again, we will assume the contrary, that there exists another equivalent martingale measure, say denoted by P star star. And we have to prove that P star is equal to P star star. So how are you going to prove this? Let pi k be the self-financing and replicative strategy with the discount value process being Vk tilde. Then we can write H tilde n as V tilde n. That is how we always take the payoff from the value in all our pricing models. And if you recall, in one of the previous problems, we have stated that Vn tilde is V naught plus sigma j equal to 1 to n theta j dot, this is a vector because you can have more than one risky assets, delta Sj minus 1 tilde, right? So why we can write like this? Because we are working with self-finance strategy, therefore we can write like this. But this is a martingale, right, with respect to P star, and this is predictable. Therefore, we can write E star of theta j dot delta Sj minus 1 given Fj minus 1 as, you can pull out theta j because it is predictable. It means it is Fj minus 1 measurable. Therefore, that comes out by factor property of the conditional expectation. And then you are left out with delta Sj minus 1 given Fj minus 1. And that is obviously equal to 0. Why it is so? Because you have, this is nothing but E of Sj minus Sj minus 1, right? Given Fj minus 1, you use the linearity property and write them as E of Sj given Fj minus 1 minus E of, so everywhere there is a star, sorry, I forgot. So minus, so this can be written as theta j dot E star by linearity. It can be written like this: Fj minus 1 minus E star of Sj minus 1 given Fj minus 1, right? This is common, theta j, and this is martingale, therefore it is j minus 1, and here Sj minus 1 is a Fj minus 1 measurable, therefore that will also be Sj minus 1, and that gives you equal to 0. Again, take expectation on both sides. What we get is E star of this one, right? You are taking E star of this, okay? So therefore, let me erase this. So that gives us E star of theta j dot delta Sj minus 1. Again, you can prove this. And on the other side, it is 0. Therefore, if you take expectation of 0, it is 0. That holds for j equal to 1, 2, up to n. So you can substitute this here while taking the expectation on both sides. Therefore, expectation of h n tilde is actually equal to expectation of V naught, but V naught is a constant. Therefore, expectation of V naught is V naught only. And that is a tilde perhaps. Okay, anyway, that doesn't matter because generally we take V naught as 1. So therefore, generally we are loose in writing this. See here, we have derived all this with P star, and what we used is P star is a equivalent martingale measure. That's all we used. Now we have also assumed that there is another equivalent martingale measure, P star star, right? Therefore, similarly, you can prove that E star star, that is expectation with respect to P star star, if you take on the same payoff, that will also lead to V naught star, right? Because we have never used any specific property of P star. It's all we used in this is that it is a equivalent martingale measure, which P star star also has. Therefore, P star star will also lead to the same result. Both together implies E star of H tilde n is equal to E star star of H tilde n. Now, if you recall, Hn is a payoff of a European option, that is some real number which there is no restriction on it. It can be any positive, non-negative real number that you choose. Therefore, in particular, you can also choose the index function of any event A coming from the power set of S. You take for that as a payoff, you can exactly get this one, and that implies that your P star of A should be equal to P star star of A for all A in the power set. Okay, so that implies your equivalent probability measure P star is actually equal to the equivalent probability measure P star star, which you assume to be at another probability measure, and that proves the uniqueness. Finally, we'll state the theorem on option pricing based on finite market model. Assume that the market is arbitrage free and complete, and P star is the unique equivalent martingale measure. Then any European contingent claim with payoff H. In our case, we can just take this contingent claim as option, whether it is a put option or a call option, with payoff H. Then the process BK, which is the price of the risk-free asset at time t equal to Tk times the expectation of H star given Fk, k equal to 0, 1, 2, and so on till n, is the unique arbitrage free price process for the European contingent claim, where if you just recall, we always define H star as H by Bn, that is the discounted payoff. We will omit the proof of this theorem. However, the proof of this theorem is very constructive, and we have already done this proof in the case of the finite market with single risky asset. The idea goes exactly the same, but only thing is we have to deal with the vector notation. Otherwise, the proof is more or less the same. So we will avoid going into the proof, and we will in fact omit this proof for our course. However, we may give some problem based on this computation. You can see that this is not something which is very difficult. Bk is nothing but B naught into 1 plus R to the power of K. So if you put that, you can in fact see that this formula, in the case when we have only one risky asset in our portfolio, will coincide with the formula that we have done in the case of single asset model. And in fact, we had a closed form formula in that case. This will coincide with that formula. If you have, say, two assets like B comma S1 comma S2 is our market, then of course we cannot use the binomial model to replicate the portfolio, because in binomial model we have Sk has only two options. One is Sk minus 1 U and Sk minus 1 D, right? So these two will give you two equations, two linear equations, okay? And we have phi 1 and theta 1 in the previous case when the portfolio has only one risky asset, that is theta 1. But now we have two risky assets. One will have its unit as theta 1 and other will have its unit as theta 2. And you have 5 as the unit for risk-free asset. So you need to have 3 variables, and therefore 2 equations may not give you a unique solution, or sometimes it may not give any solution at all. So what we do is, instead of having U and D, we will also have one M in between. So therefore, Sk can be either Sk minus 1U or Sk minus 1M or Sk minus 1D. So 3 possibilities you have. Then you have 3 equations and 3 unknowns. Then you can get the solution again for phi, theta and theta 1 and theta 2. And in that way, again, you can get a unique replicative portfolio, and that is how we can again construct the pricing model. So such an idea is called trinomial model. I'll leave it to you to form the 3 linear equations and then finding the replicative portfolio phi theta 1 theta 2. In that case, it goes exactly the same as how we did the replicative portfolio for binomial models. Only thing is you have one more middle parameter here. Okay, so I'll leave this as an exercise to you. I may give some numerical problems or even the construction of this in the case of only 2. I mean, I will only go for trinomial. Similarly, you can go for multinomial method to get a replicative portfolio for a general finite market models. And in all these cases, the pricing is done exactly in the same way how we do the binomial model case. Okay, so it's you finally take H naught as V naught. That is finally how it goes on. Okay.